Yeah. Good morning. What's up with the temperature is for?
No, see the 04, so the one. With the first one, the one with the two. Yes, you see the one with
A very good morning to all of you. We want to call this Pplc meeting to order. It seems to me that this is more than a Pplc meeting. I have seen many other stakeholders, but the more the merrier. As people who believe in God, we will first of all invite the presence of God in our midst. We pray that we have a successful meeting and that God Himself will take charge of this meeting. So with that, I ask that we observe a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Amen. Well, on behalf of the Chief Electoral Commissioner and the Electoral Commission, I wish to welcome all of you, our esteemed stakeholders, to this political parties liaison committee. I see representatives of political parties. I see representatives from the democratic institutions. I see you. I've seen a lot of people from the media. I see civil society. All of you are welcome. Now we consider all of you as primary stakeholders. That is why every fortnight we call you to have this dialogue to update you on what is happening in the electoral process. Commissioner Edmond Alpha usually chairs this meeting, but he is absent, he is out of the country. He is in South Africa attending the conference on the African, not the African, the AWEB, Association of World Electoral Management Bodies. It's the largest group of election bodies. And I just say that in that meeting, Sierra Leone has been elected as a member of the board of the World, the Association of the World Electoral Bodies. Can we give that a hand? This is an indication that our efforts are being recognized globally. The Pplc chairman is also part of that delegation. Now, if we look at the agenda, we have adoption of the agenda, one introduction, update on the voter registration process, update on the electoral system, interactions, AOB, and adjournments. So can someone move for the adoption of this agenda?
Yeah, I move the motion to the program.
Any seconder? Thank you. So, introductions. I don't know if you have time to introduce, but let me take the opportunity to introduce the commissioners here. Now, we have on this side, we have Commissioner Leonard Omonisiri, who is the commissioner for the Western area. We have Commissioner Miriam Sia, the Vice Lady from West. And of course, we have the Chief Electoral Commissioner, the Chairman, the National Returning Officer, and also Commissioner of Pplc. and I'm the commissioner for the Northern region. Maybe we should just ask the political parties to tell us their representatives in this meeting. My name is Ecsl, I'm the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, the also the chairman of the Political Parties Association. Happy to serve my national chairman.
Newly elected deputy chairperson and leader of the United Democratic Party.
Oh.
Good morning to everybody here. I'm Abu Akal, acting National Secretary General of People's Democratic Party, PDP Soviet.
Ahmed Sisi, All People's Congress.
Senior Tunis All People's Congress.
Rebecca B.M. Mansouri, Apua.
Alaji PCC, Winnie.
Sidi Koroma, Ariel P.
Louis Masakwe, Hello UNP.
Tony Hayes, National Chairman PMDC.
Wadi Williams, Chairman Leader MPD and COPA.
Samuel Gadi, ONS.
Jay Amadou PPRC.
Mohamed Kamara Andiko, Assistant Superintendent of Police, National Joint Operations Center.
Shukulan Ansari, National Organizing Secretary, ADP.
Zawat Kabu, acting leader of Women's Leader Agency. National Women's Leader.
Good morning, Monsieur Bangura, National Secretary General, Unity Party.
Saidu Abbas Dumbuya, National Deputy Organizing Secretary, NGC.
Saidu Kaku, Acting National Organizing Secretary, PDP Sobe, and Council Member APA.
Ibrahim Kumbasa, National Unity and Reconciliation Party. Augustine J. Tommy, National Auditor.
Ibrahim Faya Sawane, Legal Affairs, SLPP.
Sapala SLPP.
Patrick Michael Sijimida, National Deputy Young Generation Leader, SLPP.
National Young Generation Leaders, People's Party.
And Jamsi, National Women's Leader, CDP, and Apua.
Richard Kelly,
Talking National Chairman, Citizens Democratic Party. Okay. You see, shows we have some civil society organizations amongst us.
so there's Ahmad Siankara Foundation for Peace.
The first time Masakwe Aman Yankama Foundation.
Mohamed Ibrahim Kone, National Democratic Institute for International Affairs. Thank you.
Okay.
But we are national.
Reverend James Lahai, you.
Justina Samuels, National Commission for Democracy.
Franklin Ibrahim Soare, Head of Election Security Management, Sierra Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police.
Okay. Thank you all for the introductions. Usually they don't ask members of the press to introduce themselves. So we will move on to item number 5, which is the update on the voter registration process. You will recall that after the end of the field data capture, the Commission released a press statement on the process. And some of the issues captured in that press statement include the extraction of data from the laptops, the retrieval of kits, uploading of district data into national server, data cleansing, deduplication, and duplication. But at this moment, I will invite the technical people, the Director of Operations and the Director of Data Management, to brief all of us on to give us an update on the process so far. Director Swami, Director of Operations first. We have Mr. Mohamed Toure, who is our Director of Operations.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Good morning, all. As you are all aware, the voter registration exercise, which commenced on the 3rd of September, was concluded on the 8th of October. And that process generally went on successfully. We at the Electoral Commission were very pleased with this outcome. And we want to thank all stakeholders who contributed in various ways in ensuring the success of the exercise itself. Now, at the end of the exercise, the Commission, as mentioned just now, put out a press release in which we have indicated that the various stages following the registration, which basically includes data consolidation, deduplication, and aggregation. That process is largely in the hands of the Department of Data Management, which will give us an update as to the status of the data consolidation, as well as the processes involved in deduplication. Of course, after this exercise, we also continue with the registration process, which will go on to exhibition. But for now, we stick with the consolidation and deduplication process, for which I will invite the Director of Data Management, Mr. Soare, to give us an update in that regard. Mr. Soare, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Director of Operations. I'll be brief in my statement of analysis. As you rightly mentioned, data capture and data processing are two separate activities. And in order to have the data that you can speak to at all times, you have to make sure that the necessary processes and protocols are all observed before you come up with the figure. We have retrieved all the 1,850 laptops that are sent for the field data capture. They are now at our data center. We have similarly extracted data from all of them and currently being uploaded onto our main server. The registration captured two different set of voters. New, that is those who have not been registered by the civil registry. And the second had to do with those that have been captured already by the civil registry. So in total, we are talking about two sets of data that we are currently processing at our data center. Up to this afternoon, the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone Data Center has processed this morning, sorry, 1,640,998. 1,642,998 as old voters. That's a confirmed case. Those that went through the laptop. Similarly, for those that went through the MCI system, we have a total of 260,537. For the new registration, out of this total, 260,537, we realize after data consolidation and transmission that 85,000 of them are clear case, meaning they have only single existence in the identity management system and the National Civil Registration Authority. Similarly, 175,537 are in conflict, meaning there is more than one existence of such records. This process, this figure, may require a civil registry to have what you call adjudication on that particular data set. Again, we have uploaded a total of 1,592,308, but yet to be processed. In total, what we have processed and what is pending is about 3,495,143. 3,495,843. That is after uploading what you have and what has been uploaded. When we combine the two, it's about 3,495,843. Let me just say this: it's not final figure for the just concluded voter registration exercise. We have to do adjudication and deduplication. Adjudication is a process where when someone, a particular voter appears in more than one center, and then that record is flagged, like the few I just gave you, the 175,000. We are going to look at those two records, and then we'll end up choosing just one. There are some cases they are not actual duplicates. It's like they have similarity in their fingerprint. So in such cases, the two individuals are separated as separate records. But wherein that same record is tied to a single voter, it means we have to delete one, and then we keep one. So the figure might be like a plus or minus at the end of the day. We are yet to receive upload data from one district, which is Bond Island, Bond district. So with that, when we upload that, I'm sure by Friday next week, we have our final figure with respect to those that actually took part in the voter registration exercise. I think they have some constraint up to now, but I'm sure by the end of the day, we have the hard drive from Bond Island. So that will also add up to the last figure I just gave, 3.4 million. In short, this is what we have currently at the data center. I'm sure by next week we will have a clear picture of what transpired during the voter registration exercise. Thank you all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Swari. Now, Dr. Swari did mention that the Commission will be undertaking education exercise and identification. In the spirit of transparency, the Commission will commence this exercise at the National Warehouse on Monday. And in that regard, the Commission is inviting stakeholders, political parties to be present. But of course, this is an electoral process, and as all electoral processes where stakeholders, political parties, and observers are invited, there are procedures. So we are requesting that one political party is represented at the identification process, and that individual is going to be accredited by the external relations department. So political parties that are interested can please contact the education department for external relations, external relations department for accreditation. So the process is going to commence on Monday. We want you to witness how we do the education, what are the processes and control mechanisms put in place. So that's just an update I want to add. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Touré, Director of Operations, and Mr. Henry Soare, Director of Data Management. So the process will take place at the data center at the National Warehouse, Wellington. And Mr. Touré has said that political parties can send in one representative, one person per party. But that person needs to be accredited. The media and also members of the civil society can also request for accreditation. But you will understand that the data center is a small space, so we cannot accommodate several media organizations at the same time. But I'm sure the Director of External Relations, Mr. Albert Nasapo, who will be facilitating this accreditation process, will ensure that at any time, members of the media who want to observe the process will be able to do so. So we will come to interactions, but first we will go with the agenda. So we move to item number 6. Item number 6 is update on the electoral system. What is an electoral system? An electoral system is the way votes cast in an elections are converted to seats. In this country, in Sierra Leone, we have used several systems. For example, for presidential elections, we use the 2-round system, because it says that if you don't have 55% in the first round, you go to the second round, which is the runoff. We have used several versions of the PR system. We have used the first past the post system. So at this juncture, I will invite no less a person than the Chief Electoral Commissioner, the Chairman, and National Returning Officer to make a statement to give us an update on the electoral system. Chairman Konesa.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bakar, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I earlier asked what level are we now? And everybody said we are at level 1. Are we still level 1? Yes. Good. So let's move. Maybe we'll go to level. We'll remain at level 1. I know since my tweet yesterday, several comments. I think at the moment, if I was contesting for popularity, I would be number 1. So let me go to the press statement. In accordance with Section 38A of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, as amended in 2001, referencing subsection 3 of Section 38 of Section 38. The President may, after consultation with the Electoral Commission, direct that such election shall be conducted on the basis of the existing district in a manner to be known as district block representation instead of constituencies. On 19 October 2022, the Commission held a consultative meeting with His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio to update him on progress relating to the boundary delimitation exercise being undertaken by the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. Subsequently, on the 20th October 2022, the Commission received a correspondence from His Excellency the President, in which the ECSR was directed to use the district block and proportional representation PL system for the conduct of the June 24th, 2023 multi-tier elections. Within this context, the Commission hereby informs the public and key stakeholders that the 2023 multi-tier elections will be conducted using the PR system, and that the boundary delimitation exercise, which had commenced, is halted with immediate effect. This is to facilitate effective planning on matters relating to procedures, rules, and regulations on the proportional representation system. The Commission remains committed and compliant with legal mandates and guiding principles, and we keep the public and key stakeholders fully informed and engaged on this trend. Thank you. End of press statement. 21st October 2022.
Thank you very much, CEC and Chairman.
Let me go further. Let me go further to read out the directive. At the meeting with His Excellency the President, including others, and on the 19th of October 2022, you, that is the Commission, provided an update on the impracticality of delimiting constituencies in time for the 24 June 2023 general elections of ordinary members of Parliament. Advised that as a consequence of one above, the 24 June 2023 general elections was impracticable to hold using constituencies, and advised that on the basis of 1 and 2 above, the 24 June 2023 elections of ordinary members of Parliament be conducted on the basis of the secondary electoral system, namely the district block proportional representation system. As a consequence of the above, His Excellency the President, by the powers vested in him by Section 38A of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act 2001, has directed that the 24 June general elections of members of Parliament be conducted using the district proportional representation. You are kindly advised to give effect to this presidential directive. Signed, Secretary to President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I understand that this meeting is live on Facebook. It's being streamed live. Now, we have listened to the voter registration update, and now we have listened to a press statement from the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone and a letter from the State House directing the Commission to use the district block proportional representation system for the June 24 general elections. Let me say that there will be fine details. I'm sure some of you will want to ask a lot of questions, but the fine details will come later on. Don't expect all the answers today. Nevertheless, we will open the floor for interactions, and obviously, we hope that we will still be at level 1 even during the interactions. The floor is open. Today is Friday, so we hope that we will conclude this meeting as soon as possible. Yes, James Lahai. Reverend James Lahai of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I want, on behalf of National Election Watch, to thank the Commission for their efforts so far. Some observations that we have as National Election Watch include during the data capture in the field. We observe, especially in the second phase, that several first-time voters, and even some who were not first-time voters, we are denied registration and we are not given rejection forms. And by not being given, especially in the western area, and by not giving these potential voters a rejection form, terminates any claim they may want to make during exhibition for their names to be included on the register. I don't know if the Commission has anything in mind for this category of people who are sent to go to the NCRA. And the NCRA at this Pplc meeting indicated that there is nowhere in the law that indicates that registration staff should send registrants to NCRA for any form of verification document. I appreciate that the fine details will be supplied later in respect of the district block system. I may want to bring to your attention some concerns whilst you'll be working on the fine details for the district block system, so that clarity is thrown on which data is going to determine the allocation of seats to districts. Will it be the midterm census or the total number of registered voters by district? We are concerned about this because of the implications it might have in creating an uneven playing field, noting that the midterm census result is in controversy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend. I will attempt to answer the first question, and the CEC and Chairman will respond to the issue of which data to use on the allocation of seats. Now, you said during the registration exercise, some first-time voters were rejected, and you were not given rejection forms. Now, there are the procedure. The procedure is that when you go for registration as a first-time voter, you have to satisfy the registration officer. Now, there are situations where some of the first-time voters were not necessarily rejected. They were simply asked to bring documentary or non-documentary proof. So in such a situation, you don't need a rejection form because you expect the applicant to come back with the documentary proof, maybe the birth certificate or somebody, a local chief, a pastor, or imam to complete the witness form. So in those cases, we don't issue a rejection form because all the registration officer is asking you to do is to try to convince you. The registration officer issues the rejection form where he is absolutely certain that you do not meet the requirements for you to be registered. That is when he now issues you the registration form, the rejection form. And in that form, he will identify the reason why you are rejected. For some of them, it's just a matter of asking them to bring the proof. So in that case, you don't give the rejection form. Because if they give you a rejection form and you appear in another center, you will be committing a crime. So all you need to do, go home, get your birth certificate or get a document, or meet somebody who knows you in the area as prescribed in the law. Once that person comes, you complete the business form. If the AGO is satisfied, you will be registered. So on the second question, I will kindly ask the chairman to respond. He's asking for which data will the commission use on the allocation of seats.
I think it just proven that where I have 3 or 4 titles, the box stop here. We are at this point in discussion as a commission to clearly identify which data. But if you refer to the provision under section 38A, it says the district, the number of seats can be determined and approved by parliament. So who determines that is something we are looking at it very keenly, and we are going to have consultative meetings with parliament, with political parties. However, for the purposes of the boundary delimitation which we started, and the reason we started was because the existing boundaries of constituencies expired on February 2022. And with the emergence, with the provision of the statistic data, we had already planned, we have already used that census data to determine the number of seats. So if we are going to carry out the boundary delimitation, surely we are going to use the midterm census. But as it is, since we are now using the district block system, which has different indication under the provision of section 38A, then we need to have a discussion with political parties, the civil society organization, and other stakeholders to determine the number of allocated seats to districts. Because the last time the system was used, we had a fair spread of representation of constituency across the country by district. So we are reviewing the process. We will come back to the public and inform them after having consultative meetings with all stakeholders, including political parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So the reason why I answered your question is to prevent people asking the same questions. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, commissioners. Thank you, CEC, and thank you for the update on the voters registration exercise. Listening to the data management director, you did say that you have retrieved all 1,580 something machines that were in the field for the registration. But then again, you did say that you have not received anything from bond. So my question is, what exactly have you not received from bond? The machines or the hard drive? We just need clarity on that. And if you haven't received anything from bond, does that mean the 3,495,843 processed and unprocessed data that you have currently does not include data from bond districts? We need to know that. I just wanted to
say something also on the system. Clearly, I don't want to go into the legality because as a political party, we will have to, process it and probably come with a position as to our next steps. But just for clarity's sake, CC, you did say 2023 we have a multi-tier electoral process. So the PR system, boundary delimitation doesn't end with just constituencies. We have councils, we have wards. So just looking at that, are you saying, this system you want us to adopt is going to cover all of that?
Okay, let me respond to that and then the operation of data will come. You recall the Constitution Order Section 33 provides the authority for the Electoral Commission to develop regulations for the conduct of elections, and including the local council elections. So if we have decided, if the directives are given to us to use the general election parliamentary, then the commission is also reviewing, and by all implications, we have to be upfront with this. We cannot have one proportional representation for general election or parliamentary election, and they have a ward election by ward. So whatever elections we are conducting, and remember also again, under the 2022 Public Elections Act, there's a clear provision which says that all public elections could be conducted under the Public Elections Act. So which means we have to come out with the same regulations in terms of the parliamentary as well as the local council.
Yes, on the question of data not just collected from BOMF, we have received data from the first phase because after the first phase of registration, you recall we brought all external hard drives to data center and uploaded data from those districts. What we haven't received from BOMF currently relates to the hard drive for the second and 2D phase, as well as the laptops. The problem we had was that the drop that was sent to retrieve materials had a breakdown, and it subsequently left BOMF. Is now on its way to Freetown. So by the end of today, those materials will definitely be here at the warehouse. So that's the reason why BOMF were left behind. And of course, we know the challenge of bringing the materials from the most difficult foreign places in the Congo. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I don't understand the reason why we have armed guards outside our door. I was surprised they were not even going to allow us entry because I see you were actually expecting level 3. Now, in the case of the registration, I want to start there.
Level one now.
But you are not in any level.
And the saying goes, liquid finds the level. So as we proceed, the level will be determined. Firstly, with the number of people that were rejected, I am sort of peeved about the explanation we just received that they were told to go back and get documentation after they had clearly said they don't have. And I was witness to them being interviewed in such a manner, you not get this, no, you not get that, no. Give them a rejection slip, they refuse. And in the center where I was, where you actually called armed people to come and I don't know if it was to arrest me or what that were there. Yes. Well, it must have come from this office. A whole truckload of police from Mr. Joskol alone could have come from a directive. But in that center, 70 people on my insistence were given rejection slips. I'm speaking to the point here now. Were given rejection slips. And on those rejection slips, the boxes that were checked were cannot be convinced you are a Sierra Leonean. And there I sat, and no registrant was interviewed to assess their Sierra Leoneanness. So as you move forward to verification, I am very concerned that when those people present those rejection slips, and he's saying here quite simply, quite convincingly, that you can come with a chief or you can come with an imam. Imams and chiefs were rejected. They were not allowed to verify people. In my presence, and sir, I have a lot of video if you need proof. A lot were rejected. So let us leave that. I said liquids will find their level. Secondly, I want to go to your pronouncement of the district block system. Now, as much as I acknowledge I am no lawyer, but having a little familiarization with the Constitution, and your statement, you said, in consultation with you. That means when you meet with the president, he's soliciting your counsel, your advice as to which way is the best way for Sierra Leone to go. And with my limited legal knowledge, does the Constitution not supersede any other document? And does it not say that the expiration of constituencies happens 7 years after the last boundaries were done? I'm asking. And then constituencies become invalid. It's a question. And thirdly, does it not say if the conditionalities are met in order for us to then go to PR? And as you give the president's counsel, and you look at the time frame involved, are you giving the president the best possible advice in that the public that own the election have to be educated on a whole new way of voting? Do you think that at this time, when the clock is ticking to elections, that a district block system is the best for Sierra Leone? It is a question. I will wait patiently.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes. Please let me address this. I don't know if more questions, but I trust my team. They will respond to all of the issues that will come because I have another meeting. I have to go to attend. Madam, you might want to know, out of the data we have processed, we have over 4,000 people that will issue out the rejection form. Over 4,000 across the country. Of course, Western here has the largest. So we are going to process that, and as we have started, it's going to be transparent. If we are going to reject you, the evidence will be there. If we are going to include you, you will have the evidence that will convince us. So we issue out over 4,000 rejection forms across the country. So we'll be processing all of these, and we ensure that we get a fair process. The issue of the Constitution, I think you answered the question. The Constitution is always two-way. The Constitution says you do the constituency for the elections when there's need for you to do boundary delimitation. And we trigger we made a pronouncement for us to do boundary delimitation, given the circumstances. A, it has the current one was done in 2017, expired in February, so which made the lower limit of 5 years met. 2, there was a significant change in the population as a result of the midterm census. 3, we have submitted, based on the election observation recommendations, we have reduced the quota, population quota, from 25 to plus or minus 2020. That has gone through parliament. So whatever indication, we are bound to do boundary delimitation, because if we use even that alone, it's going to change the population per district. If we had used the population quota, the deviation range of 20%. So there was every reason for us to commence the boundary delimitation. We started the process, we had a committee set up, we have trained our staff, we have even done the allocation of seats using the locality and district population that was given to us. We had planned to start community engagement, stakeholders engagement, early part of August, and we had crisis of August 10. We could not do that. So the question for us at the time, do we proceed with the boundary delimitation, or do we proceed with the voter registration? We are far away in the voter registration on the 15th when the official census results was presented to president. So the question we asked, we had proposed to the president, as you rightly mentioned, do we do boundary delimitation to be able to meet the 6-month rule that says you cannot change the voter register 6 months to the elections? That is impracticable. We cannot achieve that. So the alternative is, can we defer the elections? I don't think any one of us here want to do that. So as a result of the compromise, we advise president that we have to do the proportional representation, which already exists in the constitution for him to do. So that's the directive we have received. So it is not a question of violating the constitution. We have acted within the constitution. I agree with you, the timing, and there is a need for voter education, community engagement on the process. That's where we want everybody to come on board. This is how we are going. We have to accept it. But then we need everybody to come on board, just like how we came on board for the voter registration, to be successful, for us to educate people so that we can do the proportional representation and have a successful, and I'll be happy, I'll be very happy for us to use this process. So at the end of the day, we will estimate that we will have a compromise in parliament where you have everybody represented in parliament. We will have a fair representation in parliament, in local council, across the board. It will also reduce, eventually, it will also reduce the acrimonies that we have witnessed over the period in by-elections, because the system allows us to do replacements where vacancies occur. So, madam, please come on board. Let's promote the
So I was going to thank you for the way he eloquently answered that question. But let me go back to the issue of the rejection. You know, I am the commissioner for the North, and at the moment I also provide oversight for the Northwest region. And I visited all the districts in the North and Northwest region in both phases of the registration. From Palaba to Penantubu, Karine, Bosami, Tokoli, Potoko, and Zambia. And this issue of underage at times is being overplayed. I have to explain. Because in the two regions that I monitor the registration, these issues did not dominate the registration process. People were compliant. They came to our centers, and in cases where the registration officers were not satisfied, they asked them to go home and bring their documents. They came with their documents and they were registered. And I visited centers at times. The centers were empty. There were times when I found the staff sleeping because there was nobody in the registration center, no applicants. Those of you who went to Falaba, Bombali, in Makeni town itself, Makeni town, in Potloko town, in Kamakwe, in Maguaka, in Kambia, I went to Okupu, Mambolo, all these places. And you talk to the agents in the centers. And I tell you, in all the centers I visited, I probably visited more than 50 centers. You will find both SLPP and ABC agents. Of course, yes. Yes. And when you talk to them, they will tell you they are very happy with the process. No problem. They will not raise any forms. They will not raise complaints. Of course. Yes. And there are one or two centers I found new. I remember in Portugal, a school at Lunge Road. I met a new observer and we interacted. You know. And even when people were asking for additional days, why do people want additional days? When you know that already the centers were empty, people who wanted to register have been registered, and for every day that you have voter registration, believe me, it costs more than €1 billion. Just think of the money we pay to the staff. You know, 100,000 per day for the RO, the others is 90,000 for each one of them, and you pay plus all the logistics, vehicles, fuel, and so on and so forth. It's an expensive process. One of the most expensive processes in the electoral process. So I will say that in the region I cover, in the north and west, these issues of people being rejected did not dominate the headlines. I promised Mr. Fatoma that he will ask the next question. I made a promise. I like to keep my promises.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. Democracy is about participation, and as a right-based organization, we are concerned about the participation of independent candidates in the proportional block system. So, can we get a confirmation here that people who want to go solo without belonging to a political party, we may have the privilege, to contest just like under the constituency base? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fatoma. Now, we used the PR system in 1996 and in the 2002 elections. In both occasions, the system did not allow the participation of independent candidates. Now, however, this does not mean that for the 2023 elections, we will not accommodate independent candidates. But as of now, I cannot give you a definite answer. But what I would say, it is a situation we are looking at keenly. It is something that we want to do if we can do it. We want you to.
Yes, I am Honorable Abukabo. I am Honorable Abukabo. I would have loved the Chief Commissioner to be present because my question is premised on the statement he made. Of course, it is clear that the current constituencies took effect in 2017 December. And from 2017 December, because that was when Parliament was dissolved, from 2017 December till now, the Constitution makes provision for the current constituencies to be valid for up to 7 years.
for up to 7 years. The Constitution makes that provision. And if the commissioner is saying the current constituencies are no longer relevant or they have been dissolved, I stand to ask myself the question, which constituency am I representing currently in the current parliament? Because I am representing constituency 077, it shows that my constituency is valid, it is recognized until after 7 years. And quite apart from that, if you look at the amendment they are relying on, that is 37A, 38A, 3 is very clear that it is only political parties that would send in aspirants for members of parliament. Meaning, if you do not belong to a political party, your names will not be sent to Ecsl. So if independent candidates are to be considered, it means we need another constitutional amendment of 38A. It means we need another constitutional amendment of 38A. And I was seeing a lot of people were applauding the commissioner when he made mention of the fact that the PI system is a good system. You know, I don't want to open a debate of the deficiencies of the PI system, but I just want to assure you that Sierra Leone has used the PI system on 2 different occasions, and we decided to abandon it because of the deficiency. For example, I was in Pplc. In Pplc, we had 8 seats in 2002, we had 8 seats. And members of parliament were not selected or elected as per constituency. The party sent list. Regardless of where these members of parliament are selected from, it's the party's discretion. So we had a situation after the winning of the election, we had a situation where 4 members of parliament were coming from Pplc Central alone. 4 members of parliament, 2 from different political parties. And we in Kafubulon, Lokomasama, and the other environment, we are without any member of parliament. The member of parliament was leaving Pplc to come and check us in Kafubulon after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years. And let me tell you also, for those of you who don't know, when names are submitted, for example, in Pplc, we currently have 10 constituencies. If we send 10 names to Ecsl, yeah, and people go to my constituency and say, Honorable Apukabo, we don't want you, and we are not going to vote for you in our area because we don't want you, and the party has chosen you. And people say, well, Ahmed Cisse, the party has chosen you, but we want you. And everybody voted because of the fact that Ahmed Cisse, I am coming. When you have the opportunity, you can ask your own question. And everybody says, Ahmed Cisse, we are voting for you because you are a true son of the soil, and we love you. When they vote for Ahmed Cisse, and they didn't vote for me, because my name was submitted first on the list, all the vote of Ahmed Cisse is transferred to me. I am the first to go into parliament. That is the system we are now calling for. That is the system we are calling. I just hold my.
Thank you, Honorable. But let me state this: that first, the Electoral Commission by law is an independent commission. The law makes provision for that, and we try as best as possible to act independently. So the decision to review the boundaries was a decision by the Electoral Commission in accordance with the law, because the law states that you can review boundaries in a period not less than 5 years and not more than 7 years. So the boundaries were enacted in February 2017. They reached the threshold of the 5 years, and it is the commission that decided that these boundaries will be reviewed. So, Honorable, you were elected based on those boundaries. So it does not mean that those boundaries will continue to be in place until the next election. The constituencies and laws will be in place until the next election. Now, what the commission is saying, based on our discussions, based on what the chairman has said, His Excellency the President has directed that based on all the issues raised, we will go into a district law system. That's what we are saying. Right? But the decision to review the boundaries was a decision made by the Electoral Commission. It was the NET, it was the ECSL that released a press statement saying in August that we will review the boundaries. That was our decision. It's an independent commission. We took that decision. And it is in line with the law because the law gave us the opportunity to do so within a period of 5 years, but not more than 7 years. So on the limitations of the PR system, honorable, those issues are issues that I'm sure should be handled by the political parties. Of course. The parties should ensure that there is the list submitted are represented. You have representations from the various parts of the district. Of course, those are things that can be worked on within the parties. Right. So I did not say that we are going to allow independent candidates. I was responding to a question, and I said it is something we are looking at. Because in other countries, they have PR system, and they do allow independent candidates to contest. So we are looking at it, right? Yes. Okay, Mr. Gayami. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Granted that we are still on level 1, I hope. I'm trusting on the integrity of the commission that the fine details of what you just told us will be given to us eventually. We want to recommend that you assign a specific day or date where we spend a whole lot of time discussing these beautiful fine details that people have started putting up. So my comment actually today is a commendation. The first one is to all of us as Sierra Leoneans, headed by you, the Commission, for having attained the position of deputy chair and chair or chair in an international body for electoral processes in the world. I think we should all be very proud and give them commendation. And talking about nationality, I want to run down to the presence of the national flag in your hall and commend you again for beautiful work you've done, which gives me nationality today. The third commendation is also to you for having completed an arduous and tedious, tremendously difficult exercise by putting us together into what you call an electoral register. The final one is to all of us here. And in doing so, I want to quote late Ahmad Yankara, in whose name I'm running the foundation, when he said, what happened or may have happened to Sierra Leone from 1961 to date may or may not have been the responsibility of any of us in this hall. But what happens from today henceforth remains the singular responsibility of each and everyone in this hall, because we are now in the know of what we want, what we should want, what we should do to keep Sierra Leone in one piece and live in peaceful coexistence. With those few words, I hope we maintain level 1 until we reach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am sure we will maintain level 1 because the meeting will spend some time now, and I like the atmosphere. I'm sure this is the spirit. You see, let me tell you, political parties. Political parties are not enemies. It's a healthy competition. It should be a healthy competition. And the other thing I want to say, sometimes let us look at the opportunities that some of these things will present. Let's not don't look at it. We will spend time here if we begin to analyze the electoral systems, the various types of electoral systems. No one of them is perfect. They all have their limitations. But let us look at the opportunities that each system will present, and let's make good use of it. Yes, Badiatu.
Okay, good. So, first of all, I want to thank you for the good work of completing the education inside. But then I don't want us to downplay on the issue of documentary proof that posed a serious challenge during the registration exercise. So one of the issues were there were no uniform procedures in addressing those issues in the field. When you go to the other regions, let's say the east and the north, of course I was in the north, of the first time voters and even adults who do not have a proof of documentary proof, they were allowed to bring in witnesses. But in all of the centers I observed in the western area, they were not allowed to bring a witness. An example, at St. Anthony, we went there to observe. There was this guy around the age of 30 to 35. He had an affidavit. He was not allowed to register because they said he should go to NCA for a birth certificate. That is not only the issue. There was another center at Yam Farm. A couple of centers, I can name a couple of centers that we visited that those issues were really prevalent. Why I'm saying this, I don't want us to downplay on these issues. Maybe we can learn from them and prevent recurrence in subsequent activities. But there were serious issues of uniform procedures during the registration exercise. Thank you.
Okay. I will ask Commissioner Osire to respond. Commissioner in charge of the West.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Bakar. I've been listening to all the submissions made by CSOs, political parties with respect to the Western region. I want to start off with the first phase of the legislation process. We started off well. We had some issues here and there. So many people came forward, as stated in the document, to identify first-time voters. I must say we were very much disappointed by some high-profile personalities, like councillors. They were arrested. Yes, the matter is at the central police station. I went there and I pleaded with the police to grant them bail. Some of them will be appearing before the court because they came in with false information. Some identified people they don't even know. They gave us false names. We contacted the parents. Instead of saying the boy is called Alusai, they will say the boy is Usman. According to the councillor or the religious leader or the village headman or headwoman, the boy is Suli. So what's your age? I am 5 years of age or 23. And you call the parents and the parents will say, oh, my boy is just 15. And the boy will say, yes, they gave me this document. We have several documents, fake birth certificates. Some were arrested. And that is the reason why most of them did not collect the rejection form. Because they sent in the birth certificate, they submitted these birth certificates to us. I have them in my phones. Some have the same serial numbers. So you have this person who has a copy of a format of the birth certificate. So the serial number is 55055. So they'll just be printing out the 55055 and be writing. So they write, oh, this person is from Kujemu, this person is from Bombali, it was born in Bo, it was born in Kotloko. So they come to the center and the registration staff will ask them all the questions they feel they should ask. And at the tail end of it all, they say, no, I was not born in Bo. They actually gave back to me at home in Freetown. So that's another issue altogether. And I must say, we have to be sincere. If the process is going to be accepted at the end of the day, it starts off with the registration. If the registration is not credible, the outcome will not be credible. It will not be accepted by all. So this issue of fake birth certificates, we also had fake voter ID cards. Fake voter
I have them. I have them in my office. You input the details. They're not in the system. They come forward for confirmation. So where are you coming? Where did you get these ID cards from? And they are actually qualified to vote. How did you get this? Another thing is the NTRA slip. But that's why I want to come in. That's the reason why some people were referred to NTRA. They came in with fake NTRA slips. So that's the reason why I have one in my phone. We inputted the data, the serial number. It happened at Angola. I was right there when she walked in, so I took a snapshot of the slip. I have it in my phone. I can share it with you. She came in with the slip. They inputted the information on the slip. 3 people came up. 3 different people. So we ran through, we did all the tests. We couldn't trace her records. So we asked her to go to NTIA, get a proper document. It's not like we were sending them to go do the registration with NTIA. The ones who were sent to NTIA were the ones who came in with the NTIA slip that had some issues. No, well, let me last please. So that's the point, and the reason why some people were not given, I must say, they were not given the rejection form as soon as they were notified that the birth certificate is fake and the police were supposed to take care of them because you actually falsifying a national document. It has nothing to do with the commission. We also had fake passports. Yes, after the second phase. Some people even moved from, they registered the first phase, the second phase, some of them were arrested, they were taken to the Roscoe police station. After registering the first phase, they thought they were not going to be identified in the second phase. So they moved to another center in the third ward, wanting to be registered. So the registration staff immediately identified them as people who already gone through the process. And they were like, yes, I've gone through the process, but somebody told me to come back. We even arrested, it actually slipped away, a party agent who was in one of our centers. He was the one issuing out the fake birth certificate. So as soon as we arrested the 3 boys, they were taken to the police station and they said, no, the party agent in the center gave us the birth certificate. That was the end of it. But the conclusion of, I will not say that. I won't delve into that. The conclusion of this thing is, the first is we have to first of all, we get set, see this process as one that is very serious. We have to be serious about it, and on the same note, treat it as one that will form the foundation of whatever structure we intend to build. So if the foundation is faulty, the structure will definitely collapse. So that is it's collective responsibility. It's not about finger pointing. And like the commissioner rightly said, the party agents in the centers, in all the centers I visited, in the Western urban, Western rural, they were like sitting in the centers, they were not moving. They were sitting in the centers, taking notes of everything that was happening in the center. They were satisfied with the process. They had no issues. So as far as I know, I am okay and I feel the process is credible. And I must end on this note that the Western region actually registered the highest number. We registered. The number of registrants from the Western area cannot even be compared to the other area, the second highest. So that's it. So we created the level playing field, but at the end of the day, the process has to be credible. For those who were issued the rejection form, but the ones who actually show the documents they presented, there are issues will be treated as we move on to the next phase. Thank you.
Since we have heard from the commissioner for the West, maybe the commissioner for the East will also say a few things about the region.
Hello, everyone. It's good to speak up this podium on a day like this. We have a full house. I'm happy to see all of you here. And I hope and pray we will maintain this kind of attention to the process. This issue of first-time voters, many of them were really in my region, like in Blama, there was this boy of even fathers and 15 that went to register. I said, where is the document that you came with? In fact, the chief at the center said, no, the boy, he did not recommend it. But how comes you are trying to register the boy? So I had to stop that. These are the kinds of people that go, oh, they're asking for this, asking for that. You can't even give me. I mean, at their age, really, why should they not have birth certificates? Young kids of. Come on. They don't have birth certificate. We really have to step up as Sierra Leoneans to be proud. In other countries, a baby is born today, that baby has, I'm sure, the social security number that will follow him or her right through. Let's start this. NCLA must not go wasting. All right? You have a baby to be registered. There was a girl also in Kenneman Farm. She tried to do the same thing. All she had was a letter written by her daddy. Her daddy was not even there. My papa gave me this. I said, how old are you? And she was funny. Come on. How long do we have to be cheating to have responsible positions? We say we want to be leaders of a country we should be proud of. And people think they can aid and abet those kinds of activities that we'll sit here as a commission to listen to them. We would not accept. I want every Sierra Leonean, all of us, it starts with us, to start to be doing incredible things. Let's teach the children the right things to do. Don't send your kid to go and register at a far lower age. How is he going to cope with going to college? They'll be retiring before you. You know, because of these things. If you go and register, you are 14, and you say you are 18, know that from that point, you are losing 4 years of your working age in the future. Sierra Leoneans, forget about these party differences and let's work as a team. A good thing comes, it doesn't matter which party it comes from. We have to embrace the good things and we all have to flush out the rotten things to make Sierra Leone a better place. That's my day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, I am moving towards ending this meeting. Sure. You know, I am not a lawyer, but this issue of I believe there is a spirit behind it. Now the spirit is, I'm sure, in small communities, like the village where I come from, Pplc Island, we know each other. Everybody in Pplc knows everybody. So it is if and some of these villages don't have health facilities. There are no bank certificates. So I'm sure the spirit of the law is for those communities where there are no health centers, where everybody knows each other. Somebody comes, the chief can say, hey, yes, we can confirm that he is one of us. We can confirm that he's not 18 years. So the next thing we should be doing is to encourage people in these big cities to get certificates, bank certificates, and documents. Bank certificate is not just for elections. It's not just for elections. It is an important document for everybody to get. Okay, so I think at this now let us be patient and allow three. One will be from the upper chairman, and one from and then the lady. Tony, I don't know if I have time for you. No, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. But I think when the upper chairman speaks, somebody speaks. So I want to take permission. When the upper chairman speaks, somebody speaks. Mr. Chairman, and definitely have my deputy upper chairman here. Dr. Hadi. So I think we are together, so I'm highly protected. In the very first place, on behalf of the All Political Parties Association, we want to tell thanks to the Political Parties Association, PPRC, because we are part of the process. They supported us, Upper, Upwan, Apia. We are part of the process. We are cut across the entire country to monitor the registration exercise. You can attest. Our final report is with the Pplc. We submitted our final report, our findings towards the registration exercise. They can present it to the ECSL. We are part of the process. You know, I normally say these things. We must be honest to ourselves. When somebody speaks truth or something that is good, people point fingers at them. That they've taken a position. No matter what you say, see, I don't belongs to all of us. The Bible says, if somebody is doing good, praise him, sing Hosanna for him. Of course, yes. You know, ECSL, or no matter whatever things you do, some people will not appreciate. Even after election, some people will not appreciate. Same thing applies with Satan. Satan was with God, but because Satan thinks that he is powerful, so he decided to go and lead his own kingdom. That is how some people are in this country. They are thinking that they are powerful, then they want to go and lead their own kingdom. They will not accept it. No way. No way. Secondly, towards the PR system. Towards the PR system. For us as an association, we've been pushing towards PR system. Since the Construct Review Committee, I was part of the process. Since the CIC process, some people just came yesterday. They were not part of that process. You know, when you enter the field political arena for the first time, you need to be patient, observe and study. Join the line, or else you are out. This is an evidential document that sees the starting of the PI system. These are position paper that will be pushing us. Very long time. As the All Political Parties Association is supporting the PI system. And I want to make it very clear today that we want to say thanks to His Excellency the President for giving us the PI system. And I want to make it very clear that I'm an honorable awaiting from 2023 with the PI system. I'm an honorable awaiting with the PI system. So for the fourth state, I would like to present our position that today, APA, we have succeeded with the PI system. Very thanks to His Excellency President Joseph, because definitely, come 2023, we are going to get a mixed parliament of different political parties, which is very, very good for the arrest my case.
Thank you very much. I would like to start, audience please. I would like to start by thanking the Commissioner. I would like to start by thanking the Commissioner for evoking our patriotic sentiment. That's been, I would also like to thank Ambassador Darami as well for reminding us of our civic duty. The Commissioner West, I also want to thank you. I wish you could go further and assure us that the registration for Western area far surpasses the previous registration. Thank you very much. That was reassuring, and it's in tandem with our records as well. Now, I'm just worried about the assertions of the data manager, Mr. Soare. He said, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, that out of 260,537 data that have been processed based on the NAPRA, about 85,000 are clear, and the rest are in conflict. And part of the conflicts,
does not preclude multiple biometric or fingerprint registration. I find that totally disconcerting because I think it is scientifically impossible to have two fingerprints at the same time. He can correct me if I'm wrong. So we're worried. Now, does that mean that when that is been established and people that are suspected of multiple registration are deregistered, and upon exhibition, it's now realized that they made a mistake? Can those people be registered? If for any reason you deregister individuals based on what you perceived as multiple registration, and when you go to exhibition, because we shall monitor the exhibition as usual in all robustly, and then you realize that, oops, we made a mistake. This actually individual exists. He has legitimate documentation and registration slip. Can those people be reinstated into the register? That's the question. Thank you.
Yes. So the director of operations. Yes.
Thank you very much. I would like to respond to the last part of the question. That in the event somebody is being deregistered, removed from the voters register, and during exhibition, they find out there's a mistake, and then the person is registered. Now, we should realize, we should understand the processes of exhibition. Exhibition basically is to undertake corrections, objections, and inclusions. And that is one aspect. That's one aspect of the process that just been mentioned of. So during exhibition, in the event somebody presents his or her voter slip, and we realize that the person is not on the voters register, the person can claim for inclusion as long as we can ascertain that indeed that person registered in that center, because we are also going to verify the registration of all those who present themselves. I will not just rely upon the slips they provide, because of course we should be mindful of the fact that with what happened in the voter registration process, where we saw deliberate attempt to fraud the system, we are also conscious. If you present your voter slip during exhibition and your name is not on the voters register, we will have to ascertain the authenticity of that slip by making reference to our own copies in the Form 1 booklet, as well as the journals. Because as you know, when you register, we enter your details in the journals, be it new applicant journal or commission journal. So we will first of all ascertain your details in those documents, and once they are there, then your claim for inclusion will definitely be looked into and to be processed.
Yes. Okay. Please. Now, I want to give 1 minute each to 3 people. No, I know. One is our lady, my friend from NCD. Of course, to the Songa, because I want to hear from the other parties and NGC. That's all. No, we don't talk. So, the lady from NDC, to the Songa, and my brother from NDC. And then we close.
I want to thank the Ecsl cell on behalf of NCD for the update on the voter registration process. Commissioner, you mentioned about encouraging all to have all citizens to have birth certificates. Let me share this. I was at Coletown, Congotom, and Kube. Most of the youth didn't have any identification documents, neither birth certificates. So I decided to ask them. They informed me that their documents were destroyed by fire incidents and flooding. However, I encouraged them to go for one. Also, I was at Oki Beach with a force on the 7th of October. Most of the youth didn't have any documents. So they told me that they took their imam there, but the imam went there without any identification to show that he was an imam. So obviously they didn't allow them to recognize them.
Thank you. So you see, even if it's a small village, everybody knows the imam. Tony. Okay, yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Once again, National Deputy Organizing Secretary of the NGC Party. And I firstly want to thank ECSL for an impressive and performance they have showed throughout this tremendous process. I believe we, the NGC Party, if it were the PR system that was used in 2018, we would have had 20 or more seats in Parliament. But for the sake of clarity, I would want the ECSL to just add more spices on the issue of adjudication and that of consolidation, right, before we leave this hall. And on the issue of legality and that of constitutionality, our party, as we have been doing, will come up with our own concerns, challenges, and probably recommendations. So I thank you once again. I am Saidu Abbas-Dubwe.
Thank you very much. Tony.
Last speaker. 1 minute, 1 minute. It's okay. It's okay.
Last one.
1 minute.
I want to thank God that we're able to maintain level 1 up to this time. Before coming here, I did call Fire Force and the driver was here. And I just asked him to talk to base that we are fine. I just want to remind us and advise us about the fear of God. Whatever we are doing today, let us remember there's a supreme maker. Genuinely and sincerely for the good of this nation. So be it. But no matter how we look at things, I will only encourage every political party to return back to their parties and begin to sensitize our whole meetings and talk to them about the realities of life on the ground, so that we can have a peaceful, cohesive nation and a free and fair and credible elections. Thank you, and God bless us all.
So, I will ask the Director of External Relations to maybe explain the modalities for the accreditation on the adjudication process. And somebody wanted more information on the adjudication process.
Basically, when we say adjudication or the deduplication, it will answer some of the concerns and questions that have come up here, especially the gentleman from APC, with regards mentioning what the Director of Data Management was talking about, certain data in conflict. All of the registration centers were stand-alone units. It is possible, or it was possible, somebody registered in one ward and went again in another ward and went again in another ward. So the system has picked all of these words. What is good about the adjudication process is to just leave one and do away with the others. But the commission cannot do that alone. That is why the commission is moving another step forward to the process at the National Data Center. So all of these concerns will be addressed there. On that note, the External Relations Office is going to open as per the directives of the commission. Starting now, we'll work tomorrow, Saturday. The office is going to open. We are not going to accredit individuals, but institutions. Feel free to send in your list, because the adjudication process might take more than a week, depending on the number of cases. But it is one individual per party or per institution per day. It is possible somebody may come day 1, day 2. That person may not have the time. We would encourage you to send 5 names. But on a daily basis, it is one individual, because we may not have the time. Tomorrow from 10 in the morning. Now what we are saying, per day or whatever time at a given time. Even if you are there till 1 p.m., you can leave other person goes inside. That's what we're saying. So in other words, we can encourage an organization to send 5 names for accreditation, but only one. If one person has gone in, that institution is not going to have a second person for that session, as the case may be. Tomorrow the office is going to open, and the external regulations after tomorrow will go to Wellington. So we will not have the opportunity. Let's do accreditations. All of the organizations here, political parties, development institutions, are stakeholders. They are all here represented. You can start the accreditation process now. We'll open the office tomorrow. After tomorrow, then you'll have yourself to live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the time
10 to 5.
So this literally brings us to the end of this meeting. All I will say that is that let us see ourselves, when you the political parties see yourselves as competing colleagues and not enemies. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا. Oh, take away.